In the name of everything what's light within me, I bless everything what's light within you. And today, for you and for me, there is a time to spend a time of self in recognition why Detroit is such an important place on earth. Detroit is Phoenix City of New Time. Is energy which made home in this very place, which is undeniably sacred. This energy is strongly combined with fire, and fire in magic brings change. Fire in alchemical arts is elements of let's say everything what's alive. As we are just combination of 4 earthly elements guided by light, fire is one of those elements. Fire is element of speed, element of rush, element of freedom, is also element of decision, of move. Of course, it's element of sex, but also element of war. Fire means intensity. If there is fire lacking in any of your life processes, that means energy gonna be low in there and process not gonna have, let's say, dynamic, tensed enough to create something in material, physical realms. Fire in alchemy always brings change. It changes everything from one form into another, but most often this change is permanent. And Detroit is legitimate city of fire. Not only as a place in state which is supposed to be home of the free and land of the brave, or inversely, I didn't remember because it's none of this till now. Right now, eyes of the entire world, as usual, since United States have TV and scream, "All eyes on me," are pointed into United States direction, because from here the massive change will start. And this massive change already has a name and is provided to earth not by the people with God in their hearts. Right now, my lovely friends and homies, we all, doesn't matter which city you are in right now, doesn't matter even if you are in States or in Europe, or even in Australia, or wherever you are, as a world, we are in a transition from one density of living into another. And those people who, in the name of some kind of agendas, are trying to rule the world with power and brutality, violence and fraud, those people trying to do New World Order right now. But it's not gonna happen, because they underestimated nature, they underestimated God. Everything what's alive on earth belongs to God. So, despite of the reasons they evoke anything or even anyone as a person into existence, if this someone or something has a home on earth, it belongs to God and is under special protection of divine forces. Detroit was burned many times to the ground. In 1805, hopefully I nailed it this time, for a person which is number blind, that would be something. On June 11th, city was burned to the ground. and only 600 citizens tried to save own place, own home till the end. Incredible is that, first of all, they couldn't be making it even if they would use entire amount of water, which was at the time in a river. But they didn't stop to try. They made bucket conduct or something like this, like another river but made of humans with a bucket, and they tried literally to put down entire fire. But that was impossible, but nobody died. They rebuilt that city from ashes. Then in 67, then at several occasions Detroiters been setting fire in different places, sometimes just for justice, because there is something in the human nature, and we have it as part of ourselves and also as part of our behavior, that in some place something so bad gonna happen, so impossible to reverse or really hard to explain or to forgive. People have the need, internal need, to set it ablaze, to put it on fire, to make it disappear, to make it non-existent, to swipe it away. And fire is most, let's say, strong in own happenings, in own methods, in own style of manifestation element, is always giving no chance to return in the same form. And that's entire power of fire. Fire is change. When fire happens in water, change is happening. Water, in alchemy, just element of time, is time condition for every one of us. So right now we are in the water of Aquarius era. We are in a 2020, that's the number of the year. Well, according to numerology, we already in a number of fifth, which means in a cycle of 2021, because after equinox we had at Mabon celebration, which means beginning of autumn. We jumped out into the new sequence of time according to vegetative cycles of plants and according to numerology. But it doesn't change the fact that we all in here in the current time, and we all mothers, each one of us. If we're gonna scream that this life mother or another, we still gonna point the difference. And there is no difference if you are light of God in heart, and especially when you're from Detroit. These nuts to prove it. Detroit is having own culture and is absolutely different than any other, and also this uniqueness is giving Detroit independence, is giving Detroit the character, the picture, different than any other city. This is unexplainable and impossible to compare. Detroit has own character, and also because fire was actually shaping this character since the very beginning. Fire is very present in here, in every, let's say, sense of Detroit. Fire is here, of course, present and living in music. Rap God, Marshall, Bruce Wayne of this God bless city, and absolutely person who is entirely as a human being, let's say, combined with this city, and actually his love to this city is making this city powerful. And inversely, all those people, well, people feeling that Street is not listening to his music. But I made my own test, and sudden and surprised, because I was in the middle to going for some grocery, and then shop was closed because of Rona and new rules. So I took my road into the next shop, which was let's say 1.5 hours from home, and that was the road along to Livernois Street, which is supposed to be read as Livernois. Livernois, yeah, you know it probably, but Livernois. This is how people in Detroit call it. And entire time I was counting cars with music, and after the second song I heard, I decided to make it on my card. What was it, if I can recognize it? So in this 1.5 hours of me walking there, I heard 31 cars playing music loud, and loud enough for me to recognize this music, and Marsal's music was in 11 of those cars. And that was like 2 months ago. It wasn't even freshly after some premiere. So that was like 2 months after Adventures of Moonman and Sting. Yeah, I believe so. So yeah, so if people saying that Street is not listening to Eminem, please tell me which one. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna check up on it, and I'm gonna share with you probably in here. Yeah. So music as fire, especially his music, is present everywhere. This man as a person, as influence is everywhere. Every person on earth probably recognize how he looks like, or how he was looking like in the past. Everyone knows at least one melody of one song, and by everyone I really mean those 9 billion people, or even more right now. I don't know, I wasn't counting them, that's not my story. You know that I'm umbilical, and I'm not having math in my last name, so I'm gonna count things. But this man is power of this city, and this city is his power. He called this place home, and absolutely I do confirm this is his holy home, and nobody would be trying to ever separate him from this place, because this is his place of living, this is his altar, and also this is one of most important altars on earth, because in here, in this place of fire, in this place where fire is at home, let's say it loud, fire might be at home in brightest shine of self, in highest form of self, or in most destroyed form possible. And as fire in our human nature is strongly combined with strong will, with intensity, with sexuality, with any type of violence, with any type of fight, with art of fighting, with any type of strong spirit, with any type of courage, fire in the shadow means opposites of those virtues or lack of them. So that's so very important for all those people in here to keep fire in their hearts. I'm a spark. I came from Poland, as Nostradamus said you before, so it's not like this invasion is something sudden. My lovely friends and homies, you've been told about this before, so don't be so surprised. Spark, although a water, river, although a fire. They've just combined all powers to start the Light Empire. So this is precisely what is happening in Detroit. In here, every drop of water right now flows about this new hope, this uprising, this faith, this power of God. Every single day I'm here, I do everything what I can and everything I discover that I can for each one drop of water in the Mother Earth, to whisper about this to each one drop of water she gonna met on the road to the sea, and precisely to the ocean. So this is incredible to observe all this in people, in music, in everywhere. To keep heart afire means to be in touch with everything what gives you life, what's making you energy, what is your tool to spend your time in mastery. Look at the fire by itself. I even have it for you. Fire consists of brightness and warmth. And when you have something written within your heart with brightness, which means with light, and with warmth, which means with feeling, you have it written within your heart with love and with truth, because those two ingredients are immortal and eternal in those two values, and in different amounts and let's say kinds, in each one value and virtue which is important on earth enough for souls to be here over and over again, to gain it, to have it, to be powerful with this, to grow, to expand on light, to be light of God on earth. Detroit is such an important altar that a couple years ago people openly calling themselves Satanists and actually doing this very disturbing and anti, let's say, alive stuff. Those people wanted their own statue of their own idol in the middle of the city, because they wanted to, you know, invite the circle, to climb the altar, to, let's say, make a rule above the land. That was very important. It was a fight about this. In here, a lot of stuff like this is happening because a lot of, let's say, associations and some people who just don't understand how life actually is working life, those people are exchanging on time for some kind of fake power, and all they're doing is work on fire, let's say, importances, but negative way. Here in Detroit, fire is at home, but when fire is happy and fire is in actually rising mode, fire can let you survive and win above everything in your life. This is this eternal flame in your soul, which is unkillable. Even if everything else is like pretty much, not in very bright form sometimes, this is the first flame and the last flame from which everything and anything is starting over and over again. Like life in here. I took those plants precisely and I keep them on altar since then, from a place which was burnt to the ground back in the days. And I just made my road there to check upon it in person, if that's still burnt. And yes, it is. And fire cleaned it to the ground, as I've expected. And in this place, those flowers, as a flower, even by name, is flowing, because it's just water, dressed in a shape, and described by name. Those flowers are pure victory of water above fire, above everything and anything what's happened there, including the fire swiping everything. So those plants are for me like a live sculpture of triumph of everything what's life. So Detroit needs to understand that as a city of fire, it's very important how Detroit in own character, in own vibration, in own energy gonna behave. You are light of God in doing, in action, in creation. Behave. Each one city looking at you is looking at your identity, and exactly their fires are smaller, younger, or let's say not as experienced as fire in here, so they follow the experience, they follow the leader. Please, Detroit, don't be against everyone right now. Don't be versus everybody. Be victorious above everybody. If you need to, be victorious above everything. Phoenix out over entire trauma of past. Phoenix out over entire happenings of even former day. Because fire is about having this spark every single day. I seen in here people practically killed by life, but still remaining in bodies, by courtesy, I believe so. But those people living in such unhappy conditions been immediately revived into life when you started to talk about music or about graffiti or about something they really have in their hearts. Like, heart can not even remember about hardcore of entire life you have in you, because this fire is always fresh, it's always new, it's always like this one rhyme, which gonna bright your day even if this day was unbreakable. Those people are climbing on own talents and nothing more out of such a hell that most people from outside of this place couldn't even imagine. They most often not talking about this, some of them bravest alive, but the road is always the same. The road is like iconic middle finger, always let's say pointed right into the sky by Rab God drinking water in the same city as I do right now. Because this finger, this iconic middle finger, is showing precisely the right direction for each one hater, and he couldn't be more precise. This direction is up and forward, climb up. As I said, this is my emotional involvement in your spiritual development. Climb on that. So people just don't understand. And in alchemy, we have also additional joke in here, because in chiromancy is another art, another esoteric arts, you know, everyone has own candies, right? So in this art, this middle finger is strongly combined with power of Saturn, the planet. And Saturn is planet of consequence, is planet of karma, is planet of punishment, is planet of, let's say, everything good. Comes around, goes around. So when you flip this finger precisely to someone, you show that actually justice is on the way. So nothing threatening, just kindly reminding. Detroit has unapologetic attitude, and everyone who ever just made one brave statement in life will feel here, let's say, with this very moment of self at home, because entire city is about this. Entire city is about speaking loud what you have in your heart. It's like when you're coming into this city and you have the name of Detroit, you may as well read, "I'm standing upon you naked in the truth." Please be mutual. The time is mutual, life is mutual. So in this very city, when Rosa Parks said that she's not gonna be sitting in the back of a bus, but she's gonna be taking the seat as she wants to, in this very city, when where exactly fire burned down to the ground buildings, streets, lives, dreams so many times. Right now there is a chapter to start, not only for own private history of, you know, those borders, this town, this city, those people, for the world. Let's for a moment imagine that Detroit is Avatar, living, having character, having and producing own energy, avatar of fire element on Earth. And right now, let's abandon the word imagine, because this is exactly what we're dealing with. So Detroit, right now in this chapter of universe, we all need to be united. We all need to shine with the brightest powers we do have, with the most important features we carry in our human physical bodies on this earth. We need to establish name. Everyone who's in here needs to make name in here, and with this very name lift the name of Detroit, because Detroit is the fire on earth. If this fire would be in own shadow, in low energy, in, let's say, opposite of own nature, or just in the bottom polar of own nature, this fire would bring something way much worse than any word you can imagine and you can't combine together. But right now, this water of universe, this chapter of universe, this moment of you, this moment of me, is about something very else. It's about what's immortal. It's about what's important. It's about what's eternal and what's infinity. So, Detroit has own traditions, own rituals, own ceremonies, and some of them are absolutely beautiful and bright. Some of them, like Devil's Night back in the days, which was practically pyromaniac fest and arsonists feast. Those traditions made Detroit. Right now, Detroit is in a transition. As the name Detroit means water flowing in between two waters, like a river flowing in between two lakes, like precisely transition or progress or process or just road or path in between two times, in between two chapters, in between two lives, or maybe even two continents. Detroit needs to show this road, needs to show this evolution. Detroit needs, and absolutely nobody else and no city else will do this. Detroit needs to show what that does even means to be fire in good, fire in this godly position, fire in divine meanings of everything what's fire. Heart afire means that your heart chakra is not only open and ready to give love and ready to take love. Heart afire means that everywhere you reach, everywhere your name is present, this fire you're living with, this fire which is making your blood running, which is making you taking another and another breath on earth, is also present. That means your life is alive. Alive as alive, everywhere you reach. Listen, Detroit is present as fire everywhere on earth because industry started here, because the process started here. The bunch of people making one process together, and in effect of this process you have a car. This is exactly the place where fundament and, let's say, first stone of the new world as we know it was actually placed. Detroit is oil for people. Detroit was, back in the days, cars, and also back in the days, until now, music. P-Funk. Have you ever heard about this? Please do. Make your own recognition. That's your homework. As I'm alchemy teacher and I'm very generous with giving them, you have one. Take your own recognition on what's P-Funk, because maybe you heard about G-Funk or maybe you heard about funk in general, but P-Funk is something incredible. Is the new vibe, new rhythm, is Detroit in sound, from different angle than rap, of course, but yeah, this is past of sound in here. This is in the water, this is in those trees. They've been really small when Aretha Franklin was small in here. Remember, this is place of go-go, and I'm not necessarily talking only about pole dancing. This is a place of JIT, and JIT is incredible dance which is actually making people changing fluids and liquids, electricity in own bodies by making moves. This is like some kind of fantasy about breakdance, but more intense and more electric. And all those dance recognition nights that started in here. And of course, Detroit has own graffiti masters and South Syntax, and has own music artists, not only Marshall, of course, although that's enough, but this is entire heritage, like J. Dillon, like Slum Village, like D12, of course. Influence is undeniable, like, well, I wouldn't mention ICP, but it's on the list, so yeah, Silver fucking play, it is there. So, like, many people, even, let's say, present in music, which you maybe don't recognize by names, but you know their discography because they are your favorite drummers on your favorite CDs, or they are your favorite composers for your favorite artists. Not even mention the Ghosts. Listen, this is the place, yeah, the homeland, Sean, like Big Sean, right? And that's the place. Fat Ray, that's the place for also original Trick Trick and or Beatwise, and of course that's the place which is also the motherland and the fatherland for techno. And even though I do not support this music with my heart and taste in beauty, I have huge respect for people in Detroit making names in the world by this, because the spread of substance of Detroit is incredible because of this. This is everywhere. Samples, not even saying the entire composers, but samples of this music are present in maybe even your favorite rap or pop music. Influence in artists are not even to, let's say, describe, and it's not possible to compare this to nothing else. Remember that Detroit has a river in between Canada and Detroit, and this river is since couple hundred years flowing with work, flowing with motivation. People who've been living here came here for work, to build the better future, not to receive it from government. Nothing was just given here. Everything was people having here was made by them, was earned by them. And besides, people in Detroit do have something very special. When they met different person from Detroit, they always happy about this. They always like, you know, what up though, and everything's happening after we meeting. But people from different cities or even different countries aren't like this. When people from Poland are meeting in a different country, or for example on vacation, they most often try not to act that they're not even from Poland, just because they are not embarrassed. People from Detroit are absolutely proud. Everyone in Detroit has at least one jersey with Detroit on it, or like, Detroit Pistons or Lions or Red Wings or anything else. Because Detroit is proud of own achievements. Detroit is the only one place, it is the only one time, as a people, as water, as we all, as influence, to teach people on earth how to victory, how to freedom, which way to be absolutely independent. Listen, I am from Poland. My blood is from Poland. I know how to uprising, and I also know how to rising up, because uprising and bloodbath is not necessarily what we need right now. Actually, we need solutions from opposite angle. Detroit, let's imagine Detroit on a ring of the universe, dressed in people or without it. Detroit is always ready to fight, ready to war, ready to combat, ready to compare skills, ready to competition. But when you have fighter in a shape like this, in a mode like this, with a nature like this, with a spirit like this fighter is the only one person in this area of happening, in this fight, who can say stop, who can say it's over. This one who is actually on the ground and tapping on the floor and screaming, I'm just a pro-Atlanta, leave me alone, or something like this. This, let's say, citizen or character or anything in this example don't have even position to establish end of the war. Detroit is as professional in fight, as very Mars kind of city, let's admit it, very Iron kind of city, let's admit it, like this kind of density can be influenced and can bring a change and can be impactful on everything else. Because that's Mike Tyson literally telling you, like he did in interview he did with Marshall, that fight is not natural. Fight is something which every person is supposed to avoid. This is, at some point necessity, and then maybe even addiction, because you feel power when you hurt people, when you feel more powerful than someone else, and you've been many times in a position when you weren't. So this is victory above your past. But right now, entire Detroit needs to understand what Mike Tyson wanted to say in this very moment, and when I want to say in this very moment too. Fight, it's not what we're supposed to do here. Earth is home for a person, for each one person on earth. So home never supposed to be place for you to fight. It doesn't matter from which one home you're coming from and what was tradition in your blood. When you are making home, please don't invite war behind your doors. That's for you to decide if you're still gonna be following the patterns or if you're gonna be maybe the first generation which gonna stop it. Even though if you just hear about this Detroit thing right now from me, and you're never gonna see this place, you are having Detroit within you because you have my voice within you, and probably some rap music too. So I'm talking directly to those atoms within you. Rise up and show entire universe how to live victory, not how to die for a reason, not how to be almost on the verge of death every moment when you crash with a subject, but then you miraculously survive. No, this is not the life. Establish victory above all this. Your life is not about you right now winning fights, and therefore you winning above your past because you've been having in so much fights you couldn't win, so right now you winning fights so you won. No, you're still in fight. You're still living upon to and up on to context someone else gave you, something else bring you, let's say some conditions decided instead of you. So maybe that's more important what I have to say in this incarnation, and maybe this is most important what you have to hear. So listen, when you have this fire within you, you decide this about yourself and about each one time and space you reach into, about each one atom and molecule of your own presence in each one person, if you authority for them or if you just person who told hello or hi. Because I'm not telling hello, it's too much hell on earth, I'm not bringing it more. But hi, that's always good direction, this way or another. So, yeah, this is important because when you are this person who has recognition about manifesting light above all power, you manifesting soul above blood, you manifesting decision of spirit above decision of instinct. And this is what exactly Detroit needs to understand. Spirit of Detroit, very important post-war sculpture, very important symbol of city, and let's say picture, very precise picture of its nature. That's your another homework you have for now. Please spend the time in it. Go on Wikipedia, go into internet, take a recognition, look at some pictures, and please pay attention for those two discs as a context in, let's say, background of this sculpture. Not only an entire silhouette of the man choosing family above any type of flaming fire, spirit or fame. And then look what's behind, because entire city is about. And when you have the name on a city, it's like you have title on a movie. It's like you have main melody in soundtrack of reality. It's like you have something in common in everything what is happening there. So please be in tune with this symbol. Combine your power within if you are lucky enough to make all happenings in area of this city. And remember, this is Phoenix, the spirit animal, courage, the virtue, and victory, the chapter of life, living here in Detroit. This is supposed to be like a mecca for all people who lost hope and who just want to find it. Because in here, I'm gonna tell it openly, everything looks hopeless. When you see those streets, nobody was paying attention if that's even gonna be, aesthetic. When beauty is important for someone, well, love for this city may be a process of Stockholm syndrome. That's very European of me, and I know it, and I cherish this. And but I'm also not sitting here in the corner whimpering with other people that Detroit is ugly, but I'm changing this. I made my road to this, and the next year you're gonna see flowers on 7th and 8th mile, because city just promised me that I'm gonna make it. And that is legal for me to do so. And if I want some funds for it, then fine, I'm gonna have it as well. So this is not about people blocking things. When you have an idea and you have a time and you want to spend both of them into doing something towards the city, in the name of the city, in the honor of this city, to keep it in splendor, that's always possible. Those people trying to do something with this. When I started to make my garden in here, people very often stopped and like, you know, giving me congratulations for 3-meter sunflowers and pumpkins before the building on the side of the street, and many others random choices, because that's precisely the bunch of seeds I was having when Rona starts, and therefore life couldn't wait. Spring is the time to start, so we had probably one of most unique gardens in here, but people wanted, you know, to have a piece of this, to maybe have some small plants to plant it outside of their houses, because they actually wanted Detroit to look beautiful. They have this direction. And even if they're not into, home decor, and they don't know how to do this, they let me to do this. Or different people I'm affiliated with, and we're just doing this for fun, for possibility, just because we can. Listen, in this very place, plants are flowing with a hope which I never seen in even harder places for plants, like New York. Everything is, let's say, making on road day by day, breath after breath, but this is keeping the city conscious. And I'm not praising the hardcore in here, and the fact that everything is heavy, and let's say, and everything is a little bit, let's say, more challenging than anywhere else. I'm praising the fact that despite of this, people trying. I'm praising the fact that despite of this, people still waking up in here, and when there is new idea of doing something, they can make it. They're gonna be here 7 a.m. when they're working, for example, from 9, but we're gonna learn. I have my own knowledge crew in here, and those people are really very often ready to sit with me here entire night just to discuss about this, what we can do in Detroit, to write it down on a paper and to make some call the next day and to do this. Listen, those people aren't stopping things. And remember, Detroit has something which is incredible, which every person who consists even one song of Marshall is winning incarnations with. This is immortal spirit. This is unkillable spirit. We're winning this immortal combat. How many kids, how many people just won life because they reminded about some words they heard in this music? Listen, there's a lot of problem, a lot of drugs, a lot of, let's say, trouble in Detroit, a lot of murders, a lot of criminal substance. Yes, but because there is a lot of this, please, right now, as alchemists, as we all are in a deep, some of us recognize this already, some of us still here, so on the road to recognize, remember, every one of us, when you consist of some pain, of some brutality, of some evil, you have a key to change it. You have a, let's say, street creed to be the one who consists of it, so can happen this change from internal happenings into outside by emanation, by teaching on own example, or by external change and bringing internal change by these. Listen, we're not here to live in those contexts. We're here to jump out of those contexts and to live above this, to finish up over, to super saiyan above this. Listen, Marshall, who is the really bigger symbol for this city, for every living now person than anything and anyone else, is exactly a living example of such behavior. Evolution of this man is incredible, is for me a reason to live. And let's say it like this. And because of this, remember that even if you have even just one molecule of these happenings, you can rely on it. You can say, in the name of everything was this spirit within me, I'm doing this and this. Same rule as we're using magic. You don't need to remember all spells. Who does it? I don't. I'm the witches and I wouldn't even try. But if I once in my entire lifetime did this ritual, this ceremony, this spell, I can say, in the name of everything was this magic within me, and what this magic in the world. And then I can work from this position. Listen, Detroit is a place of change because fire is at home in here, and fire needs to start a change from itself, from own heart, which is home for soul in every each one person, from own home, which is also, space for our time. So one of two conditions which are making us alive. And fire needs to believe, really, truly believe in happiness, in God, in light, in warmth, in love, in everything which fire might be about. Have you heard about fire of love? Have you heard about sparkles of people being in love? Have you maybe heard about those little sparkles of happiness which may have in eyes only 3 persons? I wouldn't say I sacrificed my life to see this in my very own eyes and to bring it. I would say I exchanged my life into this, and I'm happiest person on earth because of this. Because right now, I see this not only in the eyes of person I do love, with my entire reality, life, happening, everything of what I am and of who I am, but in every each one person on earth and on every each one person in Detroit. So please stand up, please stand up. Fuck Kevlar, put abracadabra. I can rub this right now up, or just say it loud in any language you do not hablar. So I could say it for like hours, but this is not webcam about me rapping. This is webcam and video and revelation, and of course message and importance and the magic and music for you and for me and for the world about Detroit. And I have third homework for you and for me and for everyone who is blessed enough to listen to this and who has possibility to be interactive in here. Please, if you have another reason why Detroit is such a special place, such important place, or if I'm gonna remind any different reasons than reasons I've already mentioned, because that's most likely what's gonna happen, because and I'm just gonna put this button on my phone, and I'm gonna remind probably another content for another 1 hour webcam. But since I didn't, I have a question for you, and actually homework, and actually proposition to work together towards Detroit. Tell me why this city is so important. Tell me why uprising of the light starts here. Tell me, from your own observation, what do you exactly know about Detroit? This sacred land of music, of magic, and of change. Power of love, power of love, power of love. And for you and for me to, spend some time in it, integrate this message, and have on time with magic and with music without my voice, 3 minutes and 13 seconds in this video, just with sound of water. And yeah, because sound of water is sound of equilibrium to sound of fire. So, with brightest and, let's say, most important blessings I have in my heart, This is from me for Detroit. Power of love, power of love, power of love.